Okay, well, I'm out in the yard, and we think that we're ready to start up the irrigation for the summer. Henry is on the phone with me, and I'm standing near the area that we're most concerned about in terms of potential leaks, because we did have a pipe break over here. It was supposed to be completely drained. Apparently it wasn't completely drained or something, I don't know. At any rate, we can't see any obvious breaks here, but that doesn't mean there aren't any, obviously. So most of these areas are well buried, not a problem, but things can happen. So Henry's in the utility building now, and he's getting set so he has clear shot at the valve, which is kind of tucked back in the corner of the utility building because you don't open and close it very often. So I'm busy kind of peering around for anything that's an obvious issue. Rufus has found a nice cool spot in the shade. He's not big on this warm weather stuff. I pulled a big weed over here so that I could see some stuff. Okay, he is going to turn the valve. Let me know when it's on. It's on, okay. Okay, which means it's building up pressure. And I'm not seeing anything over here. There's nothing obvious. Okay, we have about 35 psi on the line. So if it's going to leak, it should leak now. Now the valves to the individual emitters are not turned on, but the fact that it has been able to pressurize without springing a leak anywhere is a good sign. Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of times when we've had to, well, the reason we do him out there and me here is because there's been a couple of times when you turned on something, you didn't know there was a broken pipe, and you've got water just spewing. So it doesn't happen very often. Hasn't happened really in quite a few years, but you always try to be prepared just in case it does. Okay, so now the big trick is get him back over here, and we will start testing the individual valves around the yard to see what's what. Right now we only really need a couple of the beds. We need beds 1, 2, 3, and 4 for sure, because that's the asparagus and the blackberries and the raspberries. And then for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 is not being used, but 7 is being used, and so is 8. Those are the center beds there that have, you know, stuff going on. So yeah, it'll be a matter of now checking out the individual beds.
You ready?
Yep. Okay, this is a standard irrigation controller like you'd see in any suburban yard. We've had a couple of versions of it over the years because they do wear out. I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to, oh, that's funny. It's supposed to start up. We don't want it to start up. Anyway, I'm going to enter manual, and I'm going to pull up this first station that I want to check, which is the asparagus bed, which is right out there. And ready? Yep. Two very annoyed canyon towhees out there. scolding back and forth. I can see a drip from here.
It's dripping.
Okay, that's just started up. Let's make sure we don't hear water running anywhere.
I don't hear any water running.
Yeah, the only other place we've ever had water run is actually in the valve box, which is right there. So that means that's working. What we just did was set up the irrigation that goes to the asparagus bed. I just started it for 5 minutes. And it's running. You can see that at least one of the irrigation lines is spraying maybe a little bit more than it's supposed to, but that's something we can fix later. At least we know that that's working. We don't have any obvious leaks anywhere. As I mentioned to Henry, the only places that usually get a leak is either right where the emitter is on the bed, which is the thing that sticks up over here, that's got all the little hoses running out of it, or on some of the other plumbing. Once in a rare while, like I think it's happened twice, we actually had a leak down in the valve box where a valve had just died of old age. I have to realize that these setups are now, most of this irrigation has been in place for, what would you guess, 15 years, hon?
About 13.
13, he says, okay. Yeah, it's been revised a bunch. I mean, like we started with one set of things and moved around and changed things up and moved the beds and, you know. But, okay, the next thing is going to be checking, let's see. Henry's checking the general layout of things a little bit here.
Everything's hooked up, so you should be ready for the drip irrigation there, the drip irrigation here, and the drip irrigation in the raspberry bed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shut off the first one because it's been running for 2 minutes. If something doesn't show in 2 minutes, it doesn't usually show unless it's a really slow leak. So now it's time to look at this guy here, which is a blackberry bed. That's bed number 2. It has a label on it so that it makes it easy for anybody who's taking care of anything to easily know what they're looking for. Station number 2. And I'm going to put that on for 5 minutes, but I can easily shut it off. Okay, here we go. Oh, darn. If you take too long, it doesn't work. There we go.
We just turned on the valve.
Okay, I can hear it.
And you have water. It's
Okay.
dripping.
Okay, good.
We can see about tightening up this fitting here if we want.
Okay.
You need to go ahead and say what's going on here. It's the fitting between the hose and the pipes.
Yeah, we do have a drip here. It's actually where the hose goes into the, I'm not sure that that's going to be particularly tightenable. One of the problems is when you have connectors that go between different types of plumbing, a lot of times they leak a little bit, and people don't worry about it generally in suburban environments because you're not using up, water's like a non-ending source. Here we try and be careful about it. This is dripping into the bed. It's not dripping outside the bed. So at least for now, I'm not going to worry about it, but I will take a look at it at least and see if there's anything I can do to make it a little less leaky. No, it just makes it worse. Okay, well, we'll see. That seems to have, it's just because of the way it fits together. But it's leaking properly into the bed. And even the spot where it was dripping, where we didn't want it to drip, is dripping into the bed. So it's watering. These beds are designed with a bottom so that it actually retains the water. They're lined with plastic, heavy-duty contractor's plastic, and there's a bed of gravel in the bottom to act like a giant self-watering flower pot. And so the any water that winds up around the edges and isn't used by the plants just goes into the bottom and is reserved there and can be drawn up by the soil when it's needed. So, yeah, that's all set.
I'm going to go to bed 2.
This is bed 2. Now bed 3. So, next is bed 3. That's the second blackberry bed. So, over here a little bit farther. And it's the second one in a row here. So, turn off the irrigation. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead. That valve is turned on. And let's see, we have water here. Let's see if we have any drips coming out of the drip emitters. We have water coming out of drip emitters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's working, and we don't appear to have any leaks anyplace else outside the bed, or like spraying water outside the bed. That's a cardinal sin here. Okay. And then bed 4 over here. That's the raspberries. So clear that. Clear. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. You got water coming out all over the place. Okay, I just turned that off.
I have a leak on this union.
Okay, is it fractured or is it just leaking?
I don't know yet. I'll have to get a pair of pliers to pull that off. You were turning it the correct way.
Yeah, I know I was. I was just trying to see if it would move in either direction.
No, not much. Okay.
Okay, so we've hit our first snag in terms of something not working right. But while we wait to find out what's wrong with this, I can go ahead and water bed number 1.
Yep.
So,
And when you're ready, we can try the bed that I just plumbed.
oh, you want to do that first?
Let's do that first.
Okay. Yeah, let's do bed. Because Henry just plumbed that one this morning. It's had plenty of time to sit and evaporate and function properly. Here we go, over here. All right. And the one he did this morning is that one right there. He's walking over to it.
This is set up to go into the bottom. Into the bottom of the wicking bed.
Okay. But you'll still be able to hear it, so,
Yes.
okay.
I'll be able to
So that's number 10. Yes, it is. Okay.
No leaks here. There's water going in the bottom.
Okay. So that's working. We don't have the top distribution center on that yet. So he's just got it going into the bottom, and that's fine because we know that at least that the valve is working and that the existing plumbing does not leak. So, ta-da! Yep. Okay. So, and one of the things we're going to be doing before we actually plant anything is we're going to be building up some moisture in that bed. So that you're not putting damp plants that are nice and happy and healthy into a bone dry bed that will suck the moisture out of them like crazy. All right, shall I turn that off now?
Yeah, we need to clean this manifold.
Okay, well we weren't going to use that anyway. But I agree, I cleaned the manifold on number 1.
Yeah.
because I don't know where the dirt in there came from, but it had plenty of dirt in there, and I was like, that's weird. I don't usually see that. So I don't know whether somehow one of the breaks or something last year we wound up with dirt in some of the system or whatever. But yeah. So you can actually hand me that manifold and I'll put it with the spares.
There you go.
Yep. Ta-da!
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the tools.
Okay.
And get them put inside. We're going to be overcast. What's the weather supposed to be tomorrow?
Hotter.
Hotter?
Yeah, hotter or about the same as it is today. That's why I said if we give it a couple of days, we have time to get some moisture into the beds. And it's supposed to be cooling off as the week goes on. So by Wednesday, it'll be highs in the 60s, I think.
Want to just run some in the bottom of the bed?
Well, I can only run one valve at a time, so I was going to run number one.
Let's do the asparagus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I actually have it programmed, then I can run them in series, you know, so that they, you know, do things. But okay, shall I turn you off?
Turn me off.
Dink.